I grew up watching like World's Strongest Man, so like Mariusz Pudzianowski was like a big influence for me for just like motivating me for how I wanted to lift for strength.
I heard a rumor that you were going to like put your toe in the water with Strongman. Do you have any plans for that?
So I got invited. I've done like a few like local meets, and then I got invited to official Strongman games the last 2 years. And I was actually planning on going last year, but then I ended up they overloaded my third attempt squat, and I got a little bit injured on it. I just felt like I wouldn't have enough time to like heal from that, and then also I think it was like an 8-week turnaround, and then on top of that, there was another meet in January that I wanted to do. That just it was just too much, too crowded. So ended up passing out the last year, and then this year again, like just had 2 back-to-back meets and felt super drained after this past one. So decided to skip out on it. But funny you mentioned it. I am going to train with Martins later today to do some log press because I just enjoy it. And then yesterday I was like, for a half second, I was thinking like, maybe I'll ask if I can still hop into OSG, but I was like, nah, I can't do it.
I'm going to be there. We'll make a party out of it.
Yeah.
I was slated to go last year as well. We had moved across the country. So our house closed escrow on like the day we were supposed to fly out. So we had to pull out of it. But I mean, just as far as a contest goes, it's one of the better ones because I mean, small shows are cool because they're over in a day, right? You get like 5 events and that's it. You're done. And it's really common now for them to drag these events out for like 2, 3, 4 days. But the fact that like, it's not that crowded, they separate everybody. It's only 2 events a day and it's in Daytona Beach. So it's like the location is really cool. If you're going to spend the money and travel, you know, you could go to Nationals, which is in like middle of nowhere, fucking Pennsylvania, where it's like, you can go to the beach, right. And hang out at the hotel. So that's always like our destination at the end of the year. It's a really cool meet. Training with Martins. Have you trained with him before?
A couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. What would you say is like what gives you the biggest whiplash when like trying to transition to strongman type things, given how you're coming in with this already massive strength base? Like what things do you find are like kind of easy and transfer over pretty well? And like, what's really giving you a hard time?
So like any deadlift movement's been super, like, I think I've taken first in every like strongman event that I've done like for deadlifting. That's always been my number one thing. Overhead press, I'm decent at. I'm not great. I think that would be something I have to like definitely focus on and like figure out if I really wanted to like commit to strongman. But just a lot of like the balance stuff, like yoke is a tough one for me, just because like I get like I kind of hit that like oscillation where like I just lose all balance, and then I like have to like set the implement down and reset. One thing I noticed with like one strongman meet was just the the like how much harder each like event was. I would get done with it, I'd just be completely winded and gassed. And then they'd be like, "Oh, time for like the next one." I was just like, seriously? Like, let me rest for a little bit.
I had watched, I think one of the first ones you did, because I had a small gym out in Redlands, and one of our guys went to one of the contests at the training hall that Ode Haugen throws.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if that was the first one you did. It was a couple of years ago, but we watched on the live stream because our guy was in your weight class. We're like, oh shit, like let's see how he's gonna do. But it was interesting watching because I think it was like a deadlift medley and people were getting like 20 reps on the side handle deadlift.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think you still took it handedly just because it's so light relative to what you're used to doing. But that energy system switch is like something else.
I was a little nervous when I saw like how light the weight was.
It's worse if it's light.
Yeah. So I was like, man, if it's like a max out, like I'm good. Like I got this. Yeah, I think I got like 20 something reps or something like that. And like I never do like any like type of frame or like trap bar deadlifts. In my last 2 strongman comps have had that kind of deadlift. So it was just it was totally like different feel. There was like a trap bar deadlift. I think it was like 675, and I almost like lost my balance my first rep because I just wasn't. I didn't know what it was going to be like.
Yeah, yeah, it's a different animal, and you get more efficient the more you do it because
Yeah.
your timing coordination is better. But again, when you're so strong, it doesn't matter because all the guys are working with a lot less hardware than you are. But you always see the really powerful guys at meets, like the guys that are going to win the static events. They're always trying to talk the promoters down. They're like, "Oh, wait, it's too goddamn light. I don't want to do 25 reps." And that's part of the sport. No matter what, you're going to end up in those suck fests where you just have to accept, like, I'm going to die a little bit right here. But that's what you have to do. I have like said for a long time, because strongman's exploded a bit in the last 5 to 10 years, like all the weight classes that exist, the women's division, those didn't really exist back then. And there's a lot of kind of like blind positivity in strongman. And some of it's warranted. Like the talent in the weight classes has grown a lot. And it's like really, really impressive. But at the same time, it's not quite like where the open is. Like we know what the best heavyweight strongmen look like. You're not going to really do that much better than a Brian Shaw or a Thor. But I'm always telling the lower weight classes, like, just wait. One of these guys is going to transition and it's going to stick. And you guys that think like your 800-pound deadlift and 625 squat is like good, like you're going to see what happens. So I was really eager to see you go into worlds because I think that's like a world of hurt that these guys are not ready for.
Yeah. I think if I got like invited to like world's strongest man under 90 or like under 105, I'd probably do it.
That's what OSG is.
Oh, is it?
They call it officials. I know it's confusing. It's the same organization that runs World's Strongest Man. So people refer to it as Worlds. And the title is World Strong. They actually have the title. So the title is World's Strongest Man under 90. World's Strongest Man.
I know that. I thought it was a different event.
You thought it was like lower tier, huh?
I thought it was like almost like a feeder into like.
They just throw us crumbs. This is the best we have. It's 300 people at a warehouse. But no, it is the most competitive weight class show that exists. You can make an argument for a couple different ones, but when I went, it was like guys from Ukraine, guys from Africa, guys from Australia. So people turn out. The Masters division was all like, it was Adrunas and Terry Holland and Mark Felix. It was all like the big guys out. So it's a big show, but at the same time, you're like, it's the same, but we're not on a beach in like the Bahamas, right? Or like in Africa with a waterfall behind us, like World's Strongest Man is. We're in a warehouse in Daytona Beach. But
I'm blown away by how much like some of you guys compete. Like watching the Giants Lives guys, man, I feel like they do like a show every other month or something like that.
Some of them do. I've heard of guys that they're like entire training regimen coming up kind of included like weekly contests. Okay. Like that was just like, instead of an event day, it's like, no, I'm doing a contest today. And they would do like 30 contests in a year. There's some guys that are notorious for that. I am a baby. I think I got like a couple small injuries. I'm trying to like keep myself in one piece, but I'll compete twice a year. If that, like, I need a long run up. I need a lot of months of like lightweight, like get my toe in the water. And then even then I'm like, I don't know, should I pull out? But yeah, there's some guys that are nasty.
Like I feel like Novikov has competed how many times this year?
I think he's one of those guys. Yeah. I remember back in the day, like Travis Wertmeyer did that. He would compete at any contest that would have him. But he also got riddled with injuries, so and then you got to figure out how to balance the wear on your body with the supplement intake and all the things that make you brittle.
I need to come off, man.
Yeah, I want to feel healthy for 5 minutes. I want my pee to not be dark brown.
Exactly.